This morning I was just meeting with Heath Gurman, whose his father has been working for the monastery since its inception, or a year or so after. And then his father had two sons, Heath and Beta, was Bud Garman and his two sons. And then the rest of their family, also other family members, work for Earthworks Construction Company. And I think Heath's in his about 44, 45.
He's a couple years older than me.
46, 47. So when he first started working here, he was like 17 or so. And his dad actually had him, I think, working in some of these big earthwork machines since he was like 12, 13, 14, something like that. And so now he and his brother, Beta, manage the company, and they have many employees that work for them. So it's a relationship that's been going on for quite a long time with the monastery. And as I was talking to him this morning, we were talking about the road across the street on our property that's over there. And he's just pointing out things to me that I can see and understand, but he's able to just see very quickly. You know, there's the road is moving this way, or is at this particular angle, so then therefore the water is going to drain the way that we don't want it to drain, and how to deal with that. And also giving advice about how to create a situation where there won't be further flooding and road erosion, or there won't be as much. He said it's basically inevitable that it's going to happen. You know, there's always going to be erosion and problems with the roads. We just have to keep fixing them. And I was just thinking about that as I was coming back, just how we want to try to have the same vantage with our meditation. You know, it takes a long time. Heath didn't learn to read a road, you know, when he was 4 years old. I mean, maybe it's that early, but probably not. And so when we were meditating this morning, I'm guessing that for most of us, our minds were doing things that we didn't quite want them to be doing. They were reacting and moving this way and that, and being impinged upon a particular hindrance at one time, and then another at another time. And at first with meditation, we really aren't aware of the terrain. We're not really so clear on what to do. And slowly over time, just like Keith learned to, read roads and to see what, proper drainage is. And we're doing the same with our mind. We're navigating the difficulties, and we're seeing patterns, and we're understanding what we can do to change what's occurring that's unskillful, and moving it towards the skillful. So we know, if there's some sort of grudge that starts to pick up in our mind towards another person, if we weren't able to prevent that from actually entering the mind, then we do something with that while we're meditating. There we say, okay, what can I see that's different? Can I look at the positive qualities of this other person, or can I wish them well, or can I wish myself well? And so we're working with our minds continuously, and then all of a sudden we might be sleepy and falling asleep. It's very early hour, so we have to try to rouse ourselves. And there's various ways the Buddha recommends that. So we're always learning how to deal with our own minds, and we tend to have propensities, each one of us, tendencies and habits that we've accumulated and that are personal to us. And so while some monk might say, oh, I'm sleepy most mornings when I'm meditating, others might say, oh, I'm never sleepy, I just have too much energy and it's difficult to concentrate. And so each one of us is trying to strike a balance, trying to strike a way to bring the mind back into equilibrium and towards more wholesome states. And it's just a long learning process. We're not born with it. And so we need to really discover, what it is that we can do to help ourselves and encourage ourselves along the path. And so as this takes time, we want to have patience, Kanti, with what comes up, and just keep going, just keep moving along and finding joy as well in the learning to figure out what's the right thing to do here, and trying not to get too mired in mistakes and thinking, oh, I'm never going to get this right, and it's terrible. And I think anyone who's meditated at least a dozen times has seen that they've gained some skill in that period. So not to, try to compare yourself to an arahant or something, but really just taking it step by step and learning how to walk this path lightly and then see okay, how can I just keep learning and encouraging myself so that I'm enjoying this and I'm finding it interesting, and it's something that each of us can do to encourage ourselves along the path.